Still going to favour Jana in there, do you think? I mean, are they going to go with that one?
Maybe not yet. Maybe not yet. What I see is that actually Sivir is a really good pick against Zed. Zed is actually not able, if Sivir plays well, to one-shot Sivir in teamfights. So that's a really safe pick. And at the same time, you know, nowadays that Graves is getting really, really used. Sivir is a really corner pick to Graves. I think Sivir is a great pick for now.
I got to be honest, Joe. I feel like we've slimmed down a little bit on the camera there.
I know.
I mean, they often say it adds 20 pounds, but I feel like I've lost about 3 stone, which nobody in the Western world knows what the hell stone is apart from your English. But look at this, and we slim young chaps with ties on and everything.
Yeah.
They definitely went for the Jana. Actually, they went for the Jana.
Yep.
It's a really good combo against Zed. Like Zed, honestly, against Jana and Sivir is gonna have a really hard time.
So, other side then here, Gnar coming through into the second round of picks, and you'd expect that is going to be picked up here for the Yowie Flash Wolves. Actually, Stake has played that a couple of times already over in their domestic tournament, so expecting that to go through. If we actually look, Karsa, who's... I'm not sure if that's just a name change there. I didn't find any information about that. And as far as I knew, it was going to be Refrain that would be was actually starting for Yowie Flash Wolves, but that seems to have not been the case, and he's actually going to be locking in Rengar for himself.
Yeah, Rengar being picked up. We saw it a couple of times through LCS. I know Impaler played it and gained in North America despite not being that successful in Europe.
Yeah, I don't know what happens with the Rengar in America, because Rengar is normally actually a really good pick. In Europe, I can see it very often, and it's normally very effective. So I'm not entirely sure why it doesn't work there. But right now I think a good pick to think about could be Javan, but the thing is that Javan against these 3 champions, I mean against Zed especially, is really not that great, but it could be an okay pick actually. Oh, it's banned actually.
It was banned. It was banned, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's correct.
It was banned out there. And it's something we've seen
then
a lot of with the jungle bans. Yeah, Pantheon obviously out there.
That's good.
I'm seeing Talon hovered over. I don't think it's going to get picked.
Nah,
so we haven't seen a Talon for a long
so.
time. I think there's only Nuke that really ever used to play it.
You know, Talon is actually okay against, for example, Ahri, but it's not like a really safe pick, so it's really a double-edged sword. Maybe a team that is supposed to lose, maybe as a, you know, double-edged sword, as a tricky pick, can use it, but it's not very reliable. And we see Corki and Morgana, which, in all fairness, is not a great lane against Jana Sivir, so I'm not entirely sure how they're going to play out. And, well, they're hovering over Yorick. I don't think that's going to be the pick.
No.
But actually, this guy, Warlock, actually plays some weird stuff, so maybe he comes up with something out of the box.
Well, Yorick, I don't know. I think Demon in particular is he doesn't like
hater
Yorick.
of Yorick.
No, it doesn't really
actually,
like Yorick.
I've seen really good Yorick players, and actually, if it's played properly, it can actually sort of work out in a good comp, you know. Maybe protect the AD carry comp.
Well, I mean, you used to run it with the old Caitlyn. That was the Yorick run.
Oh well.
Not Caitlyn. Cassiopeia. Cassiopeia.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Oh
God,
yes.
that was crazy, man.
Yeah,
that was crazy. You can just go melee range and EE everyone. It was really, really good. Really fun.
Back in the day when Cassiopeia was actually viable. Although it was played
it's okay,
a few times now.
Yeah, right now it's okay. Because you can pressure a lot the lane. And then the late game is crazy, you know. So we have Malphite. I gotta say, it's an okay combo, but if you look at the combo of Yo, I think it's superior. Maybe not a really good late game because they lack on AP damage, but they have Corki for that, which is really good poke for late game. Actually, people maybe underestimate the Corki AP damage late game, which is honestly crazy. It's a lot of poke, and if the opponents are going for full armor for Gnar and Zed, it's gonna be really, really painful.
And what do you make of the double assassin lane in the mid lane? I mean, how do you always...
Oh, well, normally, nowadays everybody knows whether or not they're gonna die 1v1, so it's hard to get a 1v1 kill. But you can say that Zed should beat Fizz quite easily 1v1 because he pushes him out and you can poke Fizz quite a lot. But when Fizz gets the Zonias and the Lich Bane, I think Zed is gonna have a hard time if they have even farm, which is hard for Fizz.
Well, there you see, you know, we gained weight once again, and now we're kind of just settling in between our producers, not sure whether they're better looking or we're actually the better looking
It's like,
guys.
who should they show? I mean, obviously these are the guys that are in Taipei. They're in the, obviously, local language in Taipei, which is obviously called Taiwanese. Actually, Mandarin. They'd be Chinese Mandarin.
Taiwanese, I think it's
Taiwanese.
local version of Mandarin. I'm probably just digging
know.
myself a horribly incorrect hole here.
What's your question?
There's probably 1,000,001 dialects of Mandarin, no doubt. I don't know the exact dialect they use. But anyway, game about to get underway. It is going to be the first match of the Intel Extreme Masters in Taipei. Of course, this is all building up to the qualifiers for the International World Championships, which, of course, will take part in Katowice in Poland in March. And it's going to be an absolutely fantastic event. Of course, we've already had San Jose, we've already had Cologne, we've had Gambit winning out in Cologne. Surprised everyone, really. Actually. Cloud9, of course, big champions over in San Jose. So we had some fantastic games. Let's hope we have just as good tournaments here. It is the quarterfinals. It is a best of 3. And we're going to be starting out for YoE Flash Wolves up against the Bangkok Titans. And we can see it on your screens. We're going to get in there in a moment. They haven't missed anything, that's for sure. They're just there. There we go. So, quick roster rundown for you guys at home. Starting out for the YoE Flash Wolves over on the blue side, it is Steak, the big afro-haired top laner. He's playing Nara as well, so it kind of suits. Karsa in the jungle. It's a new guy, not the name we were expecting. Maple in the mid lane, NL and Sword Art, both the duo lane. And these guys, if you may recognize them, were at the Season 3 World Championships in Los Angeles.
Yeah, and obviously over on the other side for the Bangkok Titans, Warlock in the top lane, 007X in the jungle, G4 in the mid lane, Lloyd, which is close to Alan in terms of amazingness of a name. Lloyd. And Valen there on support. Interested again, like I said before, to see exactly how strong the Bangkok Titans are at this point. As I mentioned, they are currently pretty much destroying everyone in their group over in GPL. Their system's a little bit different, where they have four groups of 4, I think it is, overall. So slightly different to what a lot of the leagues are looking like at this point. We can see the jungle starts here looking pretty standard, to be honest, across the board, except the fact that we are going to be seeing a lane swap coming in early on.
Yeah, we'll see how it works out. Kind of surprised by Lloyd, actually, the fact that he did go for Sivir. He played Lucian 4 times, I think it was, throughout the league system. So obviously, whether it's been banned away from, whether he's just thought, right, it's available, let's go for it straight away. Maple in the mid lane, looking like he's starting well, as you predicted. Of course, going up against this Fizz. Fizz is going to be probably fairly passive until at least level 6, and expect to see Maple doing a good job against him. Maple, very strong mid laner, actually, last time I watched him against AHQ, so we'll see whether he manages to bully him out. But I'm also expecting some pretty wild matches. Think of the Chinese scene and the Korean scene. It's kind of like a mix of the two. So you see a lot of fights going on. So I'm expecting to see a lot of early aggression from these teams.
Yeah, and actually one of the games you were talking about, that AHQ Westdorf for AHQ actually played Mordekaiser in that game. So we might see a couple of interesting picks coming out of these teams. For now, we are seeing...
Hello.
I will just refresh it. I'm just going to give some background on this. Technically, we are receiving a clean feed from Taipei, which is why you just saw that actually coming
Not so clean.
Not so clean. Yeah, we are actually going to see a kill here, possibly. No, 007 actually flashing over the wall. True James Bond style. I'm sure there's going to be plenty more of those terrible jokes where that one came from. But very, very close there to picking up the first blood.
Yeah, it did mean, of course, that blue buff did get interrupted. I didn't see whether they managed to steal it away. I'm going to have a quick glimpse myself, because I do have a spec client myself. I'm going to a quick spin around. I think Karsa actually stole it away from him. Yes, he did. I think Karsa got in and stole that blue buff. So that going to put Pantheon behind already. That is 007 for Bangkok Titans. So it's going to be a little bit of a problem for them already. Let's have a quick peek towards top lane. Pretty even between the two. Malphite versus Gnar. I mean, you're not going to get a great deal of excitement from that lane at the top. It's often been the case for the top laners, but as you can see, a lane swap did happen. It did mean, of course, that Gnar will be up against that 2v1. But the thing is, Gnar, he's okay with that. He's got his boomerang and be tossing it out, whereas Malphite probably would be a little bit more pressured if they wanted to go for it. But, of course, when they did that 3-man dive on blue, it's left them a bit of time. He's getting some farm on.
Yeah, Doran Shield stuff in there just to make that lane a bit more manageable for him. Guys, we're aware that we've got no sound right now, but that, as I said, since we're receiving the game feed over the seas, or a lot of land maybe, I'm not sure which route it takes, we will try and get that fixed as soon as possible so that we can actually hear what's going on in-game. For now, though, not too much to speak about. We can see there that Karsa, the jungler, for the Yowie Flash Wolves just on the bottom side of the map, and Morgana actually going to come down onto that bottom lane, which should make things a little bit trickier for Warlock to actually, keep getting the farm in there, and should start to fall a little further behind that of what Stake is doing on now.
Yeah, and just watching G4 was actually backed early. I think that was earlier than he planned to.
He's doing great, actually.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's keeping up with farm on Z,
exactly.
so he's doing
pressure.
He's doing well in that part, but he didn't. He's before level 6. We'll see whether it worked out for him. We do have the supports coming down the bottom lane, so Valen has joined Warlock, the top laner, of course, to help that lane be pushed up. Well, no surprises. Stake doing a good wallop in the top lane. He's got a good farm going on already compared to his counterpart, Warlock, on this Malphite. Both going to be doing similar roles as well when it comes to the team fights. It's going to be a case of who can slam each other first, I think. NL, though, very experienced AD carry on this Corki. It was the second choice, which did surprise me. Corkis have been popular. Also, let's get your take on this one with the bottom lane pairings. So we were talking about it roughly at the start. Obviously, the Sivir versus Corki. All these champions basically rising to occasion again. Lucian fading away a little bit. What is your team's favorite down there? What's going on with this?
Yeah, right now, as I said already, Graves is taking more and more importance, which is probably one of the reasons Sivir is starting to be played. And of course, Corki. Corki basically works with everything nowadays. He's very good poke, especially with teams that you have double AD in mid and top. Corki works extremely well, and yeah, that's the point. I think Corki right now is probably the best pick for AD carry, one of the best picks for AD carry. And in the mid lane, actually, I'm noticing, I'm just focusing a lot in the mid lane. That's why I'm not speaking that much about bot lane.
It's all right. Froggen did the exact same thing last time he was here.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the mid lane thing, the mid lane thing. You just tend to look your lane. So in mid lane, I'm just checking out what set is leveling up. I actually against Fist, I tested many times to max E, which is actually really good for 1v1 in etc. Maybe even push power as well. And I see he's leveling up Q, which is okay, good as well, good. So this means that he's gonna probably go very, very soon for an all-in. And his item build is telling you that, actually. Instead of going for Magic Resist with the Hex Drinker, he went for the Cutlass. That means that he really wants to confront this Fizz. There we go, the 2v2 mid.
Well, we might see this one happening here, as we are going to see Karsa coming around. It's surely going to be Pantheon. They jump towards. There's a death mark going down, but the first blood switched around instantly. They do manage to get a kill back. Not got enough damage there to finish off Fizz, and that will be the junglers both coming to help the mid laners, ending up both dying.
Yeah, it wasn't exactly the ideal situation, of course. 1-1, all square. And considering, I guess
really
you could say, considering Karsa had the advantage early on against 007 in that jungle when they pushed him on the blue buff, that's probably perfect for Bangkok Titans, honestly. But this may well be some pressure on the bottom lane. Looks like they're all going to back away, actually. And still Corki ahead in CS, doing well in farm as we get a freeze on that screen. Luckily, we can still see what's going on our screen. But nobody going for any early dragons this time around. What do you take of the whole new dragon system? Obviously, we haven't seen you guys playing on it yet. I think the challenger scene is going to be starting this week. I believe it is actually this week.
Yeah.
What's been your take on all of the changes coming into obviously 5.1?
Oh well, I believe Dragon is actually still really, really important. The point of Dragon is that, as you know already, its second buff is actually not that important, so you can play around that.
Yeah.
So after the first buff, maybe you don't need to commit that much for that Dragon, and maybe you can make a top play, which is what many teams are doing lately, which are going for the tier 2 tower.
Well, we see Stake here moving through the jungle. Actually going to slam 007 against the wall. We will see G4 moving around, but Zed will join the fight as well. 007 surely going to go down. He flashes, but a nice little boomerang coming out from Stake. But now the rest of the team come down as well. Unstoppable force was used. And, well, Stake is still hammering away, but they've lost the jungler. And that will be a 2-for-1 in favor of the Bangkok Titans.
This is godlike for Fizz. Look the team Fizz is playing against. This is just a perfect pick, and he's actually fed right now. He's going to be able to keep up with Zed. It's just perfect for Fizz right now. Perfect position for him.
And then teleport obviously used their good work from Warlock on to teleport and get that unstoppable force off and start things rolling for the Bangkok Titans, who were actually starting to edge behind in the lane phase. But UE Flash Wolves caught a little off guard, I think, in that fight. Didn't expect quite so much. Stake, of course, was involved, but didn't teleport in there. Didn't get too much. Managed to get in and get out with his boomerang blades, but
they are picking the fights very well, Bangkok Titans, actually, because the rough start You could very well say that they started really bad, and that could have snowballed in a really bad way. But they are picking the right fights, and they know when to pick them. So it's going really good, actually. When they fought in their own jungle, they knew that Malphite was coming already, so they could afford that fight. It was really good.
Just a little bit of gold overall. They are currently down about 700 at this point. We'll see how that one actually changes. If we look down some of the early items coming out, no surprise really in that bottom lane. Corki headed up towards his Trinity Force. BF Sword was picked up for Lloyd there on Sivir, as his first item has also fallen a little bit behind in CS. Both top laners going the tanky route once again, and really not too much of a surprise on that front either. It looks like we actually might see a little bit of action here in the mid lane.
Yeah, they're going to be diving in. G4's in all sorts of trouble, though. He will manage to pop off. I thought 007 might follow through on that one, but instead, Karsa will get away. So quick and easy gank, two-man gank on that mid lane.
I think, on the other hand side, I think Fizz could have started with Hourglass instead of rushing the Lich Bane, just because of the fact that they have Nara and Zer, which have a lot of huge base 80 damage, and just the Seeker's Anger would have probably given them the edge in the first team fight. So I would have probably went for Hourglass. It's a little bit weird knowing that they have Rengar set as well as a ganker mid lane, not to go for armor. It's really ballsy.
Maybe just overconfidence here from G4. Either way, we are seeing a pink ward put down by a dragon. It looks like the Bangkok Titans are going to want to take this one away. Corki, the only one anywhere near that could do something. Well, there is a TP coming down now as we see the Bangkok Titans just backing straight away from that one. Didn't want to get involved. The question now is whether the Flash Wolves will actually stick around and try and do the dragon themselves.
Nari is really far away, if I can see, right? In the map? Yeah, Rengar is really far away.
Yeah, Warlock doesn't have his TP, though. He can't teleport in to join it, so this should get taken away. They've just zoned them out, basically.
They should have done more there. They had Smite and Rengar wasn't there. I think they could have went a little bit more aggressive right there. Imagine they got the dragon and Malphite is pushing top. I think it's worth a try, right? Maybe you die for it, but if you get the dragon, you probably win the game because you're getting a lot of top pressure right there.
Yeah, I mean, that's just obviously lack of vision. They didn't know that Karsu wasn't there, so they had no idea that Rengar wasn't close by, but they had got the pink ward down, it got cleared out, but they had an idea that he wasn't in and around the dragon, but I guess 007 didn't fancy it. He's got 0 tank plate, and we'll see whether they're going to try and make anything work out here, of course. There's going to be the man drop.
There we go. Man drop is going to come down, but that was nice from Maple getting away. The ultimate did come out of Fizz. Janna had come around as well, but Maple, I think, getting away with that one lightly.
Yeah, that's the CC chaining that will be removed shortly. It hasn't quite been enabled yet, I feel, in this one. But I know for a fact, as pro players, the chain CC thing has been a big deal for you guys. I know Eddie he's been very vocal about it. Obviously, the crescendos used to get the chains, and then suddenly someone flashes away. It's so annoying.
Yeah, it is. It is sort of buggy, actually. When you see it as a spectator, you can feel it, but when you're a player, it's even more painful, you know? I think there's a play in the mid lane soon.
Yeah, we see Zed
I can see in the map
straight back into his lane there. And actually, Rengar is going to be going through there as well. And G4
missed it. It's okay.
Went low HP, yeah. we saw it earlier, so we were like, they're going to go mid lane. But actually, no, we didn't really catch it. G4 went low, actually used Flash and Ignite. So those two summoner spells going to be down for him. Meanwhile, this bottom lane taking a lot of damage. The turret itself brutal, and NL as well. That's a lot of damage coming out from Lloyd.
Yeah, that was good work. Good counterplay. NL very low.
It was 1v2.
With the man drop, obviously, it's going to be on cooldown at the moment. There is a Rengar in the jungle close by, and that tower is very low. But that's a bold move sticking around like this. Lloyd, while his name doesn't exactly instill fear, he is doing a fantastic job in that bot lane. But you can see 30 CS behind, NL's doing a good work as well.
You know, it's a little bit surprising that this Morgana didn't roam that much, because if you think about it, opponents, Bangkok Titans have Fizz in the mid lane, which is not that great to deep push. So as soon as how is the team called? Group up, it's going to be really easy for them, at least for this moment, to get the mid tower. So I think they should actually put more pressure into mid, and at the same time you don't let Fizz farm when you group up. So maybe they should have done it earlier, because right now Fizz has a lot of damage with his E, but they have still time to do it. They should put more pressure like that.
Yeah, the Flash Wolves here, if you look just across the board at CS numbers, actually have a lead in every single respect here. Top lane, good chunk of CS ahead. Jungle even ahead. There's about 10-15 CS in the mid lane. There's 30 CS coming out between the AD carries as well. So really done a superior job of the farming stages in this one. That obviously leaves them 1,500 pretty much gold ahead at this point. And obviously they took that first dragon as well without too much of a problem. Bangkok Titans not really pushed in. We are seeing Morgana quite deep in the jungle. And if we look there on the right side, we can see the TP is going to come down from Malphite as well, right down the back of him. And he should be dead here. It will be Valen that picks that one up. And, well, just an easy TP. They were pushed too far up the lane.
In those kind of situations, I know it's actually really easy to say when you're watching from home and not that easy to do when you're a player. But Corki is supposed to either flash the Malphite ulti or not flash at all. Because he saw the TP coming. He saw it.
And he didn't get out of the way of it. Stake, though, will take the second tower of the game. They did get the bottom tower before that play happened. Lloyd will be doing the same as well for the Bangkok Titans. So, it's not a bad gold exchange, but that top lane's not really been affected at all. Warlock's not got too close to that one. Maple playing around on G4, seeing if he can draw anything out with that Living Shadow. He's not going to fall for it, though. But Bangkok Titans are starting to group here. I think we're going to have a bit of a middle grouping for both teams.
Yeah, I think this should have been done a little bit earlier because Fizz has farmed a lot. You can see the farm. He's behind Zed, but he has farmed a little bit. You can say that right now with the bot lanes, in bot lane, there's no tier 1 tower right now, so Fizz can go to that lane and start split pushing. So right now, Yo has to group up ASAP and start getting gold around the map, because otherwise Fizz is going to get too strong. When Fizz gets the Zonias, which is giving him enough armor to survive, I think they're going to have a hard time in teamfights. You know, Fizz for me right now is like Vayne in the old times, where Vayne will just lose every lane, but then in late game she will just destroy everyone. You can say Fizz is sort of like that.
Well, top lane's about to go down. Stakes having to back away from that. That will be the second tower of the game for the Bangkok Titans. And now we'll see where they move from there. Dragon just a minute away. That's going to be the next play, I feel. You can see already starting to group out, already starting to get those wards down. Yoey Flash Wolves did pick up the first dragon of the game. We'll see where the Bangkok Titans decide to contest this time.
Yeah, left that one pretty much for free, half a minute until that's up, so we'll see about that one, see how that one goes down. Biggest problem last time was obviously they had a pink ward on it, but that was all they had there. There was nothing else to grant them any kind of vision. We can already see that they've started to push up here and get themselves in position for that second dragon. As you mentioned, the dragon buff switches that happen there means that this second dragon less impactful in the grand scheme of things, but you know, it's still the stepping stone to the more powerful buffs.
Of course, the first buff is still really, really powerful. What I can see, man, is this is actually really interesting. Bangkok Titans setup is really, really good mid to late game against the Wolves setup. So if this keeps going this way for much longer and they get the farm they need, this is honestly gonna be really painful for Wolves.
Well, we can see with Na in that top lane continuing to split push. They need to deal with this. They need to start putting pressure. The dragon has spawned. They either need to go for that objective, or they're going to have to cover off because that top turret will fall eventually. We have a pause, though. Of course, they are live in Taipei. You can see them on your screens there in the bottom corners. They look like... It looks like it's Yoey Flash Wolves actually that's paused it, because I can see the second guy in hasn't got his hands on the keyboard. Everybody else is... ready and waiting to go. How do you handle these situations when you have these pauses, when you are live? Obviously, you couldn't talk to each other in the LCS. You can at the Intel Extreme Masters. What are the situations? Just literally quickly recap the situation of where you are. Obviously, at this point in time, they're literally about to have a dragon fight, and they've got the now pushing the top lane.
Well, you really want to speak with everyone in your team to tell them what's going on, but you can't. You're not allowed. So everything you can do is just think yourself what you can do yourself to prevent anything wrong to happen. But in that situation, when the pause happens, you know everything is going to happen because you actually look at the minimap and you look at what's going on and you know what's going to happen, but you can't communicate.
If you can't talk, so, you like giving the eyes to each other. You're like
right after the post, everyone is like just talking so much. They're gonna do this. They're gonna, you know, like crazy. So.
We are about to get back in game. Looks like the dragon is about to be started off, and we have sounds. Actually, I think it's just
wow.
arena sounds. I don't think it's the actual game sound.
Well,
Dragon was picked up, though, by Yo Flash Wolves. That's the second Dragon of the game taken by them. Really wasn't even contested either because the Fizz got taken down. We didn't get to see that one. So Fizz killed off. Bangkok Titans obviously had to step away.
Yeah, right now they are too powerful. As I said already, the base damages, the base physical damages are right now too strong. Bangkok Titans will need more time to farm to be powerful enough. But it can happen, honestly. Like right now, the game is in a status where everything can happen. Actually, teams can come back. Actually, it's not that hard to come back. That's the point. And I can see them coming back. Actually, they have a really good setup for that. Also, Seaver provides a really good engage. So when Fizz and Malphite are strong enough, with the follow-up of Pantheon, they're really, really strong in future teamfights. But right now, they're not. They really need to play this very, very carefully and farm as much as possible. I think Fizz right now should go to a side lane and try to be as annoying as he can be. When you're behind, all you want to do is to make the opponent team spend time cleaning waves. That's the best thing you can do, because then if they're cleaning waves, they're not attacking you, and they're stronger. So if you clean a wave and they clean a wave, you actually win in that trade because you're behind.
Problem that they have is that Maple seemed to be wanting to get involved and do exactly that, and he's now added on top of his Blade of the Ruin King that Hex Drinker in there, got a Brutalizer as well, so that Zed is going to be a bit of a pain for whoever ends up going up against him. You can see that Siva was down in that bottom lane and actually decided to recall out to get Infinity Edge done, plus Brutalize there as well.
Yeah, this is a good moment to have somebody like Soas in your team, because Soas is a player that likes to do a lot of... Oh, actually, there's some action.
Oh, we'll see whether there is. You can see the man drop is going to come in for Sword Art. We'll see whether it lands on it.
Ooh,
Dark Binding, good on G4 there. Actually, may well catch him out. Is he going to get taken down? Yes, he is. Karma comes leaping out of the bushes there with that ultimate. 007 just gets melted. Doesn't have a chance there. Valen's going to try and run away from this one. It's a 3-on-3. They may as well still come out on top here. Valen should be able to catch him out. No, the Howling Gale wasn't enough. He's just knocking him down. Malphite, well, he's a rock, but he's got 0 damage. He's got that Sunfire Cape burning away. Will eventually get 1 kill, but I don't think that's going to be all they're going to get. Valen should get chased down here. NL's going to get 1. Can he get the second? I think the Howling Gale is enough to keep him away. Oh, the Shuriken's going through. It was a 4-for-1, though, in favor of the Flash Wolves. And while it was all happening, Stake wasn't even there. He's going to take the top tower.
Yeah, that was a 5v4, actually, which obviously didn't really go well for the Bangkok Titans. They lose out on kills.
So much from this.
They lose out their turret as well, that second tier. They might even end up losing that second tier turret here in the bottom lane. There's another wave coming in now, and they're even pressuring the mid lane as well. G4 is back there now, so he should be able to actually hold on to that one. We can see that NL has also started to push away from that bottom side. So just like that, a lot of kills coming down, plus the towers as well for the Yo Flash Wolves.
You know, right now, tier 2 towers are extremely important in this season. Since the changes, the tier 2 tower have the shield. Every bit of damage you can do to that tower is going to be really, really helpful. Oh, that Orca was a bit derp.
Yeah.
It's okay.
That's one way
it happens to all of us.
It's not really working out for him. And, you know, when you're going up against just the support player and you're not managing to land your skill shots, you're kind of in a bad way, especially when your opponent mid laner is 4-1-4 now. He's going to dive in once again. Now just bounce away from that one. Bangkok Titans, they're hanging on to this mid tower, but that's all they've got. The top inner turret is down. The bottom inner turret was low, and look at that. You can see Morgana once again. They're just picking on Fizz right now.
I do have the little feeling that when Fizz was 2-0-1 and the same farm as Zed, I think...
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage coming in. Actually, Stake getting a little bit caught out from this one, though, and they managed to lock him up. It was
But they will lose mid-tower probably for this.
I think so as well. They're going to try and back away, but what are the Flash Wolves going to do? They've actually got no wave on the bottom side. Their vision's actually been pushed away there as well. So looks like they're actually going to start to move away from that one, deciding not to go any further 5v4.
I think right after the blue buff, they could have very well pushed mid lane. A little bit, or put maybe wards in the top side of the map. You know, when there is no objective you can get, the best objective you can do is to get vision in their jungle. This is something really important that the teams that are not top don't acknowledge. Getting wards in their jungle counts as an objective.
Yeah, it's not. Well, you haven't got a tower. You know exactly what's coming, especially when there's a minute for Dragon. They had that whole lower half of the jungle covered out. They could have got some wards down there.
You can even go to the top side and maybe leave this Dragon because it may not be as important. Maybe get the tier 3 tower. You know, everything. You can work around everything once you have the vision. But it's really hard to make calls when you don't see anything going on. Right now, maybe they are too far ahead, so they can do whatever they want. But it will be much more effective, maybe, to get the top vision.
Yeah, I mean, and look at the map. Look at the mini-map right now. Talking of vision, there isn't really a great deal, actually, within Bangkok Titans jungle. Obviously, Yo Flash Walls, they just need to get some wards in there, but they haven't got anything in and around the blue buff area, so they have no idea. Dragon spawning in 40 seconds time, like, if you were to say, look at, I don't know, the LCK, the Korean scene, that would be completely littered by wards.
Correct. You know, I was looking at the statistics because, you know, in G2, along others, I was making part of the calls, and I wanted to see the reason why Koreans were just better than us, you know, and the main reason is actually vision. And you can see that as an average, I think it was 109 words against the 70 of Europe. So it was actually, you can see the big difference, you know.
Yeah, I remember logging the stats last year. Actually, it was quite funny. I think it was Creaton that we noticed as the AD carry that didn't place a single ward in the entire season. And then we told Kevin, and Kevin's just like, "What?" it's like, yeah, you might want to check your teammates, mate. They're not placing wards.
When we had Broken Shot in our team as a coach, he was always telling me, "Man, you should get more wards." And I was like, "Okay, why would I get a ward if I can get a large ward? You know, and maybe an amplifying tome, like more AP, you know, more AP damage."
Well, look at this. The Dragon going to be started off. Could this be the first one of the game for the Bangkok Titans? Here comes Rengar, and he smites it away. And it looks like they're going to fight here as well. That was far too easy. Zed going to be jumping in there. Nars right in the middle. He actually gets monsooned into the rest of the team, but he'll transform. Slams Janna against the wall as well. I think Fizz might get away, or will he? We saw Maple flash there, and the rockets from NL should be enough here. Well, Deathmark will certainly be enough. It's actually Corki that gets it, and that's a triple kill for NL. They steal the Dragon, and they get 4 kills. Sorry, 3 kills if I can actually count. That just, again, second time in a row really going horribly wrong for the Bangkok Titans.
And there goes probably the last chance of Bangkok Titans of coming back in this game.
Yeah, I mean, literally every fight has snowballed in towards Yo Flash Walls. That's going to be the second tier 2 turret of the game. Easy for me to say. The mid turret goes down as well. 11-7. Massive amounts of gold. 3 dragon stacks already. The Yo Flash Walls very much in control. You know, we were talking about how obviously the Fizz just needs to farm, needs to get stacked. He has now got that Zhonya's Hourglass.
A little bit
but I
too
think
late,
it's too late, yeah.
As I was saying before that a team fight stopped me, I think if Fizz, when he was 2-0-1, would have built maybe, you never know it, right? The Seeker's Hangar before, maybe he wouldn't have got as pressure, maybe he wouldn't have that in the 2v2, you never know, right? But those little things actually do make the difference.
And talking about, obviously, the vision wars that we do have. Oh, hello. G4's in trouble. Well, the Zhonya's is not going to help you too much there. He's going to get taken down. Whoa, cheeky little Duke and Flash. He gets away. But yeah, going back to... just gets pounced on by Casa. Going back to the vision, just looking at the Yo Flash Wars, they all went back. Everybody came back. Pink wards. All down the side. Great. They have learned, you know, they are starting to get there. This is starting to become... pretty much just a matter of fact, I think, for Yo Flash Wolves as they start picking up kills now.
I just hate Rengar, man.
Especially when just stuff like that, you're like, I'm totally safe here. Nope, flash pound straight on top of your face. Not exactly ideal. We can see that Stake still continues to push this top wave. Actually, Spirit Visage, Phage, and that Sunfire Cape now for him means that he's pretty much... I mean, they just sent Janna up to deal with him. That's not exactly a fair fight, really, sending your support up to deal with that now.
Everyone is getting actually out-farmed, but I think there is a little problem that I didn't notice before, and it's a mistake by me, which is that they have, you know, Malphite and Fizz are actually... I mean, Fizz is not supposed to beat Zed 1v1, you know, and Malphite is not supposed to beat pretty much any lane. So we have right here 2 sort of lanes that are supposed not to win, at least, and you have a little problem right there, because Pantheon requires early sort of domination. Pantheon requires early kills, assists, etc. And there is no killing power in the top lane. Like, how are you going to kill a Gnar with that? You simply can't.
That's what we've seen, really. There was, in fact, not really much attention paid to that top lane at all. It was all about the mid lane in these early stages, which, granted, Fizz actually started off well, you know.
Yeah, he played really, really good, I gotta say.
Didn't work out for them after that one, and now they find themselves 11,000 gold pretty much behind in this one. And we can see, you were talking earlier on about Corki's magic damage, Ocelot.
Oh, yeah, it's just
and there's
ridiculous.
the Haunting guys and Sorcerer Shoes.
Of course. Honestly, it may look trolly, but I guarantee you this is not trolly. Like, that ability is actually legit, especially when you have double 80 like this. We used to play that in G2 with Yuki. Yuki was actually a really good Corki, and he's a really good Corki. So we used him with blue buff and everything, you know, just like an AP poker. And the damage is insane, man. Like, I think people underestimate a little bit the poke he can do, especially because just think about the opponent's builds. They're gonna just go for armor like crazy.
Yeah.
Not a lot of magic resist right here, so that's like free poke for Corki.
Oh, you can see Casa jumping in there. Does manage to actually land the root, followed by the Dark Binding, followed by the Rockets.
He can't do anything.
And then just implode him. Tower goes down as well in the mid lane. And now it is just 4 members of Bangkok Titans hoping that Yo-Yo Flash Wolves don't choose to follow through.
That's a big blast again there onto Lloyd. You can see losing about a third of his HP. Pantheon also taking a big hit. Meanwhile, Zed's poking over on the other side, and they're not really able to hold on to the turret at this point. And this could very well, with one fight, just be the end of the game here. It looks like they are now going to finally push on to that inhib turret, and they're not even fighting for this one. Not coming anywhere near it. They're going to have to let them have it.
Yeah, they couldn't go near Stakes Mega Gnar. He would have just slammed them away. That's going to be the first inhibitor of the game, going down 14-7 still. Yo-Yo Flash Wolves with a big lead in this one. That's what they had to be careful of. They're going to try and go in for it. Fizz is going to dive on. Don't think it's going to happen. Got exhausted. Zonya's Hourglass. He's going to get picked off as soon as he comes back out of there. He will drop. And now it's surely just about the Yo-Yo Flash Wolves finishing the game.
Yeah, I think Fizz just trying to make something out of nothing there. Ends up actually going down himself, which means a 4 versus 5 at this point. Although, you look at the Flash Wolves, they've got 3-4 men that are actually quite low here. So they've decided to actually back away. And that gives a bit of a window for the Bangkok Titans to try something. There they are. that's the Yo-Yo Flash Wolves. Cute. You can see Stakes afro on the end there.
Oh, yeah.
That's why we showed that, just to prove that we weren't lying about his incredible hair.
You know, as a Fizz player, you know, there's 2 kinds of Fizz games. You know, there's the Fizz games where you're 8-0, and the Fizz games where you're 0-8. And in any of both are just unfair.
You used to play more of the 0-8 ones, alright?
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Well, man, that's just mean, man. What is
Carmack
we're supposed to be colleagues, man.
Yeah, Carmack said that I'm allowed to.
Yeah, I know what Carmack has said. I mean, I actually can imagine, you know.
Troll you as much as possible, of course, as always. This is going to be the 4th
I don't know
dragon.
why, but I like that guy. I don't know why. I really don't know why, and I can't understand myself for that. But I like that guy, yeah.
He's, rumor is he's got a great video of you.
Oh, come
on. Anyway, back to the game. You can see 4th dragon of the game picked up. Dantika, speaking of Fizz, going 0-8. He's 2-7-3 right now. He's heading for that 8th.
It just feels so bad to have a game like this with Fizz, because you're supposed to be an assassin, and you just assassin yourself every time you go in, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't help when you've got no vision and you just accidentally walk into 3 of them, which is pretty much what's been happening here. We see it, Corki actually adding a Last Whisper into his build now. And, well, they're just going to push all 3 lanes out. The mid lane going to be pushed by Zed. Gnar is still in the top side of the map as well. So they're going to be knocking on both of these side lanes anytime soon. And to be honest, 5 versus 4 fight is probably something they'll go for. The teleport's up for stake on Gnar if he needs to actually join the rest of his team. And it's got to that stage where you just feel it's a matter of time before they actually close this game out.
Yeah, NL feeling very confident there. The Bloodthirster shield didn't even get breached by the laser tower coming out there, and they have got them completely split. You can see top one's been left alone. Maple's just going to carve to great big chunks into that one. And that's going to be another inhibitor going down. Bangkok Titans are effectively helpless. They're going to go for it. The Silver Ultimates pop. They're going to dive everything onto Maple, but they're leaving the bottom tower completely exposed. Maple's just going to keep them busy here. Will almost get a kill. That's going to be another inhibitor down. Mega Gnar almost triggered. There's the bottom one going down, and that's all they needed to do. Just completely distract them. And now the rest of the team, they're going to rotate. Super Minions pushing in that mid lane. And Stakes just left alone to take the inhib.
Yeah, I mean, he can probably kill 007 there. That's all 3 inhibitors going down. if Bangkok Titans come back from this one, well, it'd be a bit of a miracle, I think, to say the least. We can see they're backing away direction Baron, just because, you know, that extra little bit of power, something that they feel that they need to finish off a base. We are going to be seeing a possible pushback. If you look at Pantheon, he's got his ultimate available, so could try to come in and steal this one.
Well, that would be the ultimate steal, wouldn't it? Here comes the man drop, lands in there. Can he get the smite steal? Nars going to pin him on against the wall. He's trying to do everything, trying to crawl towards
that
it.
Well played by
Not going to happen yet.
Well played.
Just destroyed him, stopped attacking the Baron. That's going to get picked up by the Yowie Flash Wolves, and now they have just a couple of minutes left of this match to close things out. It is a best of 3, remember, so this is not all over for the Bangkok Titans, but the Yowie Flash Wolves, they are in full control right now.
You can see that. I mean, you can see that.
Yeah. I mean, if you've got time, 34 minutes into a game to, you know, just scratch your eyebrow a few times, mess around with your headphones, you know that you're probably in a couple of yokes. When
you're 8-1-5 and 0-1-11 like that bottom lane is, they're quite happily doing whatever they want. Bangkok Titans, though, they already is probably starting talking about the next game. I mean, when you're in this stage, you're just like, yeah, this game's over. What are we going to do? How are we going to counter it? What are the picks we're going to change?
And at this point, you try to keep the things as...
Yeah, this is probably going to be a bit of a whitewash fight. We're going to see Fizz going down first of all. Look at the damage from Corki there at the back. These turrets are going to fall. Malphite has to use Unstoppable Force to get behind the Nexus there, but it's not going to make any difference here. It's going to be the Yowie Flash Wolves that pick up game number 1.
There's the glorious hair on your screen, Steak on Nar. Did a fantastic job. It is a sight to behold, honestly. That afro is just, you know, the Plantronics headset just can't hold it back. It's just surrounds it. Big crowd, actually, in the Taipei arena, obviously, watching this matchup. And, of course, don't forget, Yowie Flash Wolves do play in the league that is played in Taipei. So, home favourites in that matchup. And Bangkok Titans, they're going to have to do something special to turn that around because they were outmatched in every lane there.
Yeah, it kind of started right at the very beginning, right? I mean, you mentioned it yourself usually. That you pick 2. That's generally where things start. Yeah, the start. They pick 2 losing lanes. Fizz had that opportunity, got a couple of kills, but in your opinion, built wrong.
He was ahead. Although it's hard to say, you know, it's hard to judge from my perspective because there is always a reason a pro player builds for, you know. But in this situation, I think it would have been better if it was for the Seeker's Vanguard. You know, I think that what changed the game, the course of the game, was that when Fizz was 2-0-1 and he was like almost same farm as said, there was a gank in the mid lane with a counter gank from Pantheon. But I think Yo executed much better. And they got the kill on Fizz, and right there, apart from there, it was just really hard for Fizz because he was 1.5 levels behind, I think, and that's quite a lot against Zed. Zed is just gonna be a hero that if you're even with him, like for example, if you're Orianna against Zed or Fizz against Zed, then you can actually trade. You can actually win the game by being even with him. But if you're not even with him and he's like 1 level ahead, half a level ahead, some farm ahead, it's gonna be really hard not to get snowballed, really.
Yeah, and of course, when they had that big dragon fight, ended up, 4-1 in favour of the Yowie Flash Wolves.
That was bad.
It was kind of like, that's when you start having those sort of fights, you kind of already
I think there was a point where Bangkok Titans could have been way more aggressive. You know, when Malphite was in the top lane with TP, he was pushing the tower, and they could have tried to get the smite. I know they didn't know Rengar was around, but, I mean, they couldn't see him, so at least... worth a try, you know. If they get the dragon and they pushed up without Nar with TP, I think they could have very well be the game. And I think there's this couple of situations that Bangkok could have maybe done slightly better, and that would have impacted the game much more, you know.
So if we talk about the next game, you know, we can kind of touch on that before we go into break and into game number 2. From picks and bans, is there anything that needs to change in terms of bans or different picks for these teams?
Well, I think Wolves picked right, but I think is way too optimistic to think they're gonna win early game, the second game, just like they did in the first game. They had a setup that, of course, could work late game because of the Corki's AP damage, but it's a double-edged sword because if they don't start winning, if for some reason Malphite gets ahead with a TP or Fizz gets ahead and doesn't lose then they're gonna be lost because Bangkok had a really good setup against them after mid game if they're even, of course. So everything can run out of control when you have a Nar and a Zed, but I wouldn't bet everything on that, you know. It's way too much physical damage, and normally you would do well early, but you never know. And if you don't, then you're lost. If you're slightly behind with that, you have a problem.
Well, it was a dominant victory for the YoE Flash Wolves in game number 1. We'll see how game 2 goes in just a moment. We're going to take a quick break. We're back shortly with the Intel Extreme Masters in Taipei.